WVUT Vincennes, a part of Vincennes University Broadcasting.
Good evening. In the news tonight, public support is mounting for returning Knox County to Eastern Time. And the Knox County Sheriff's Department busted another meth lab over the weekend. And in sports, the Pacers have grabbed a 1-0 lead in their first round series, and Vincennes Lincoln holds on to the top spot in this week's Class 3A baseball poll. Newscenter 22 is next. Knox County Commissioner Jerry Brocksmith says he's convinced public sentiment is for a return to the Eastern Time Zone in Knox County. The County Commission was updated today on a petition drive to get county officials to re-petition the U.S. Department of Transportation to put the county back on Eastern Time. 2,395 signatures have been collected so far, and 10 petitions are still being circulated. There are approximately 40,000 people who live in Knox County. The county commissioners have been asked by their counterparts in Martin and Davies counties to join those counties in petitioning the federal government to change from Central to Eastern Time. They are also trying to enlist other counties that changed time zones this year, including Pike, DuBois, and Perry. Brocksmith says he believes the counties must petition as a block if they are to have any chance of success. A 23-year-old Marine from southern Indiana has been killed in Iraq. The Department of Defense says Corporal Eric Lucan died in combat in Iraq's Anbar province. He was the 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force based in Hawaii. Lucan was a 2001 graduate of Northeast DuBois High School. His family says he joined the Marines in 2003 and served in Afghanistan from November 2004 to June 2005. He went to Iraq last month. Knox County Sheriff's deputies arrested 2 Vincennes men Friday night for manufacturing methamphetamine and possession of 10 grams of pseudoephedrine. Deputies were investigating a report of a suspicious four-wheeler with its lights off, carrying a cooler in the Schlomer Road area of Vincennes. They found 46-year-old David Anthony Pohl and 45-year-old Rick James Moritzi of Vincennes and a meth lab on the property of Fabco on Schlomer Road. Both men are being held in the Knox County Jail under $25,000 bond. Indiana State Police arrested a Gibson County man Saturday for the illegal purchase of pseudoephedrine within a 7-day period. Police say 28-year-old Matthew Belote of Francisco purchased the drug at various pharmacies in Evansville with the intent of manufacturing methamphetamine. A new state law prohibits anyone from purchasing over 3 grams of pseudoephedrine within a 7-day period. The crime is a Class A misdemeanor. Hundreds of people gathered in Des Plaines, Illinois, Sunday to rally in support of immigration rights and reform. The Senate returned from a 2-week recess today and is expected to continue to debate over immigration legislation. Up for debate proposals for toughened border security and the President's guest worker program. The chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee has immigration reform is too important to neglect. Pennsylvania Republican Arlen Specter tells CNN he believes Congress will be able to work out differences and pass a bill that the president will sign. Police say a South Bend police officer who was shot during an armed robbery attempt died earlier Sunday morning. 36-year-old Scott Severance was off duty and in civilian clothes when he was shot Friday night near the Indiana University South Bend campus. The 8-year veteran was shot when he moved to protect a female friend from gunfire. Authorities say a juvenile suspect, who police believe was a trigger man, was injured when Severance returned fire. Another man alleged to be involved is being held at the St. Joseph County Jail on suspicion of robbery. Officials at Indiana University say an IU student has been diagnosed with the mumps, but IU Health Center Director Hugh Jessup says an outbreak like the recent one in Iowa is unlikely. That's because the student experienced symptoms about 2 weeks ago and didn't come to the center for treatment. Still, Jessup says IU students, faculty, and staff still may be at risk of contracting the disease. The health center says students and staff members should be immunized if they were born in 1957 or after and have not received 2 measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines. The city of Vincennes, as well as communities across the nation, have more than their fair share of pigeons, and that has raised the question, can pigeons pass along the bird flu? Scientists say they can't. It appears that urban birds are unlikely to carry or even be infected by the deadly strain of the virus. Scientists found that even if exposed to high doses of the H5N1 virus, pigeons carry the disease only for a brief time. Government specialists now are looking for the first signs of the deadly strain in wild migratory birds, not homebody birds like pigeons, starlings, and sparrows. About 15 15-member teams took part in Vincennes University's biannual paintball games at Cooper's Woods over the weekend. The event has been going on for about 5 years now. It's sponsored by Christian Campus Fellowship. Student Brandon Benter says he's been paintballing for about 2 years. He says the VU event is a great idea.
Well, it's free and you don't have to worry about getting a bunch of guys together and worrying about the equipment. You got free food. I love it. It's a lot better than playing regular paintball. Just come here and play with whatever guns I got. Everyone's even with the guns I got, so it's a lot of fun.
The point of it all was for one team to capture the flag of the opposing paintball team. Each team, wearing different colors, went into the forest in search of the opposing team's flag to bring back to base. In addition to taking part in the games, students helped officiate and organize the games. The staff and students of WVUT-TV and WVUB Radio have started to paint the town red in preparation for the Red Skeleton Performance Arts Center Festival and Grand Opening Gala. As you can see behind me, we decided to start with the Red Skeleton Bridge. No, we really didn't use red paint, but we did paint it red with the magic of TV technology. 48 hours of fun, entertainment, and nostalgia will be part of the Red Skeleton Festival and Grand Opening Gala on June 10th and 11th. Weekend activities will start with Paint the Town Red Day in downtown Vincennes at 10 a.m. Parade of Clowns will include clowns across the country, including many from the Shriners, who will pay tribute to Red Skeleton. The parade will also feature the Smothers Brothers. Still to come on Newscenter 22, President Bush says it's unrealistic to deport millions of illegal aliens, and deliberations in the Zacchaeus Moussaoui trial are underway. Stay with us.
Immigration has transformed California into the world's most multi-ethnic region. Minorities are now the majority and have gained the power to remake the state. Nowhere else has this played out so dramatically as in Los Angeles.
President Bush says massive deportation of millions of illegal immigrants from the United States isn't realistic, but in California spoke in support of a stalled Senate bill that includes provisions that would allow for eventual citizenship for some of the illegal immigrants already in the U.S. Meanwhile, the president says he still has no doubts about his decision to invade Iraq and overthrow Saddam Hussein. The president says the U.S. did misjudge the internal security threat in Iraq and mistakenly attempted big reconstruction projects that became a target for insurgents. Car bombs in Baghdad have killed at least 10 people and wounded dozens today, while roadside bombs, drive-by shootings, and a mortar round in Baghdad and elsewhere have killed a total of 15 Iraqis, and police have discovered the bodies of 20 Iraqis, apparent victims of sectarian killings, even as politicians try to finalize a new cabinet. After a 90-minute session today, Saddam Hussein's trial has been adjourned until May 15th. Prosecutors played what they say is a tape of Saddam and one of his 7 co-defendants discussing the destruction of a farmland during a crackdown on Shiites during the 1980s. Iran's president held a rare press conference with foreign journalists today. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad addressed many issues, including foreign policy. He said he disagrees with the U.S. and the UK, but insisted he is a peaceful man.
I am very much against the policies of the United States and Great Britain, and I am a peace-loving man. What kind of behavior is this, that anyone who dares to speak against you, you attack him as a criminal with your media, with your great riches? No, Ahmadinejad is a school teacher and is a peace-loving man, and to this day has not even harmed an insect.
Iran's president is hinting that Iran might withdraw from the Worldwide Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but he says he doesn't think the UN Security Council will impose sanctions of Iran. A purported audio tape from al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden was aired in part Sunday by Al Jazeera. On the tape, he attacks the West over the cutoffs of funds to the Palestinian Hamas-led government. The speaker continues by saying the opposition of the Hamas government is proof of the crusade against Muslims. Peter Bergen, a terrorism analyst from CNN, commented on the tape's message, saying it's troubling that bin Laden does not make much of a distinction between the American people and the American government.
One interesting thing is he's making less of a distinction between the American people and the American government, which could be troubling. He has in the past sometimes tried to sort of offer, sort of directly speak to the American people and suggest that there was some separation. The fact that he's not making that separation suggests that it's okay again to attack American civilians and might be a signal to al-Qaeda or its affiliates to go after American civilians again.
Meanwhile, an FBI spokesman says it's very difficult for Osama bin Laden to even think about carrying out a 9/11 type attack. John Miller tells CBS the last purported bin Laden tape is al-Qaeda's leader's attempt to remain relevant. Miller says bin Laden's ability to order an attack has diminished. Deliberations in Zacarias Moussaoui trial are underway in a Virginia courthouse. Both sides have wrapped up closing arguments, with prosecutors making one final call for a death sentence for the 9/11 conspirator. The defense says that would give him the merits death he wants and that he should get life. Kenneth Lay says there wasn't a conspiracy of any kind at Enron before it collapsed. The company's founder took the stand in Houston today, taking questions from his lawyer in the fraud and conspiracy trial. He says he takes full responsibility for Enron's collapse, but says he broke no laws. Crude oil futures have dipped $1 a barrel today. The retreat comes after crude topped $75 a barrel last week. Still, the recent steep rise in the cost of crude is being reflected at the gasoline pump. The latest Lundberg survey finds that self-serve regular jumped nearly a quarter a gallon over the past 2 weeks. The national average is put at $2.91 a gallon. Drivers in Southern California were said to be paying the most at $3.12 a gallon for regular. Police in Aruba have released another person arrested in the disappearance of Alabama teenager Natalie Holloway. Prosecutors say 19-year-old Jeffrey Von Comfort is still a suspect, but police no longer had grounds for his detention. 6 others also had been arrested and released. A trip to see the pyramids usually involves a visit to Egypt or Latin America, but one archaeologist says don't count Europe out just yet. Researchers in a Bosnia town have already unearthed geometrically cut stone slabs that they say could form a part of pyramid. Chris Burns has more.
Bosnian-American Sam Osmanagic is an overnight hero in his homeland. In a country devastated by war, the Houston businessman brings hope, claiming he's discovered Europe's first known pyramids, including the world's largest. Having studied Latin American pyramids for 15 years, Osmanagic has mobilized locals here into an army of excavators. Coal miners, grave diggers, farmers, the unemployed. Osmanagic pays about 1/3 of them, the rest are volunteers.
all the skepticism will be gone. Once you're sitting in a cafe or you're flying over the airplane and you see the pyramid walls, what else you can say?
Well, some would just say this is just a rock face. This is a mountain. It's got some rock faces.
It can be. It can be. We had the geologists today. Once they see that, they are saying it was man-made, it was brought here.
And it goes deep underground, too. Osmanagic claims this tunnel leads to 3 pyramids of the sun, the moon, and the dragon. He's got his own Pyramid Mania headquarters, website, and webcams. With his trademark hat, Osmanagic is revered here as a movie star.
Bosanski Indiana Jones.
But you're a raider of the Lost Ark here, aren't you?
Yes, it was long lost. Now we have great values here which we're going to show to the world.
Souvenir vendors aren't waiting for proof. There are pyramid t-shirts, keychains, wood carvings, postcards. All the hype has fueled its own industry. What was once the Hollywood Hotel is now the Pyramid of the Sun. All while Osmanagic, armed with satellite imaging, toils to attract donors and neutralize skeptics.
It would be great that it's a pyramid.
And what if it isn't?
Well, that would be a scandal.
A Bosnian-American former U.S. soldier now helping Osmanagic says even he is skeptical, but sees a better good in the effort.
I'd rather be digging up here and discovering a pyramid and using all the science in order to find something than looking for mass graves.
If anything, a Bosnian Texan has gotten his shattered homeland to think big and to dream. Chris Burns, CNN, Visoko, Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Amidst tears and ashes, Peruvian peasants had to pack and leave their homes behind. Today, authorities evacuated the area surrounding southern Peru's Ubinaz volcano. The volcano has been rumbling and belching smoke and lava for nearly a month now. And on Thursday, gases from an explosion formed a mushroom-shaped cloud stretching more than half a mile above the earth. Hundreds of people have already fled the area, but others are trying to hang on a little longer. Ubinaz's last major eruption was almost 40 years ago. A new study shows about a third of breast cancer survivors gradually stop getting annual mammographies. The study's lead author says women may become complacent after the initial scare, but other experts say survivors may dread a reoccurrence of the cancer. A sinkhole that opened up in the middle of a rural California home and killed a man is growing larger. The 27-year-old man was on the ground floor of the 2-story home northeast of Sacramento when the hole opened Friday night. He dropped 10 feet and was covered by rubble. The hole is now about 30 feet wide and 20 feet deep. Authorities say the home might have been sitting atop an old mine. Recent rains may have softened the ground underneath the home. Still to come on Newscenter 22, Kurt Maddox has the rain is back in our forecast. Stay with us.
From American experience, billions of barrels of oil, a pristine wilderness, all on the line. The biggest.
It was like a gold rush.
Boldest.
I was going to go if I lost my life.
Most controversial private enterprise in American history.
The pipeline pulled Alaska kicking and screaming into the 20th century.
Is the oil crucial or is the wilderness crucial?
The Alaska Pipeline.
It's been very nice out the last few days.
Yes, it has, Emma, but don't expect that to continue. We have some rain and some colder weather in the forecast. Good evening, everyone. As we take a look outside, it's partly cloudy and 76 degrees. Wind is at northeast at 7 miles per hour. Our humidity is at 33%. With the barometric pressure, it's falling at 29.93. That means rain is headed our way. Some area temperatures: Petersburg, Indiana is partly cloudy and 74. Lyons, Indiana is 75 and sunny. Velpen, Indiana is sunny and 76. And Albany, Illinois is partly cloudy and 75. Our national temps mappers show the Midwest is quite mild, with Chicago checking in at 70 and St. Louis at 73. Now we can see the South around Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. That region has some 80s, some high 70s as well. Now the current hot spot of the nation is Brownsville, Texas, down here at 91 degrees. Now, as we move farther west, you can see it's gets colder as we move that way. 64 in LA and up in Sacramento is at 54. Now the coldest region in the United States right now is up in the Great Plains. You can see some below freezing temperatures. Lincoln, Nebraska is at 30 and Cheyenne, Wyoming is at 28. Our surface map will show why it's so cold there right now. This air mass coming down from Canada has caused some precipitation and rain, snow, and sleet kind of precipitation they're having right now. Some fog over Kansas as well. And we look out east, we can see it's fog and rain currently over the New England states. That cold air mass will be headed our way, but this warm air mass down here in the Gulf is pushing its way and giving the 80-degree temperatures. Like I said, that cold air mass is headed our way. We won't hit the freezing mark, but we will be close. So let's take a look at your forecast. Tonight is a 50% chance of rain with a low of 57. Tomorrow, all day tomorrow, we have an 80% chance of rain, thunderstorms in the daytime, high of 58. And tomorrow night, we'll have early showers, a low of 38, so close to that freezing mark. Our extended forecast shows Wednesday will be sunny with 62 as a high and 41 as the low. Thursday is also going to be sunny, but a little bit warmer at 70 is the high and 48 is the low. And Friday, we're going to have some thunderstorms, a 30% chance of rain with a high of 64 and the low of 53. And Emma, that's a look at your weather.
Thanks, Kurt. Still to come on News Center 22, Michael Nice has the highlights from Sunday's NBA playoff games.
Hi, I'm Mark Wahlberg. Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Now, in all my years in the Antiques Roadshow, I've never ever seen one of these.
There is a bit of a drawback. There is not great demand for goat's udders.
Wow. Holy Toledo. Wow. Thank you.
Don't miss our visit to Bismarck, North Dakota next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Pacers grab series opener. Good evening, everyone. For TV 22 Sports, I'm Michael Nice. The New Jersey Nets' first game playoff woes continue. The Indiana Pacers down the Nets 90-88. Ex-Net Anthony Johnson made the difference with 2 free throws with 9/10 of a second left. The Nets are now 3-12 in first-round game ones, but their problems go beyond that. Nets stars Vince Carter and Jason Kidd had horrible shooting games. Carter had 31 points on 12 of 33 shooting, while Kidd was just 2 of 11 for 5 points. Game 2 of the series is Tuesday night at Continental Airlines Arena. The Detroit Pistons open their playoff season showing why they think they can win their second title in 3 years. Rasheed Wallace scored 22 and Richard Hamilton had 21 in the Pistons' 92-74 rout of Milwaukee. Detroit held Bucks star Michael Redd, who averaged just over 25 points a game during the season, to 11 points on 4 of 15 shooting. The Phoenix Suns took Game 1 of their best-of-7 first-round playoff series with the visiting Los Angeles Lakers 107-102. Tim Thomas was high man for the winners with 22 points. He also grabbed a playoff career-high 15 rebounds. Steve Nash chipped in with 20 points and 10 assists for the Suns, while teammate Sean Marion added 19 points. NBA scoring champion Kobe Bryant led the Lakers offense with 22 points. Game 2 is Wednesday night at the Valley of the Sun. Miami's Udonis Haslem and Sacramento's Ron Artest received 1-game suspensions from the NBA today as a result of their actions in Game 1 of their respective NBA playoff series. Haslem will sit out tonight's outing against the Chicago Bulls, and Artest will miss the Kings game against San Antonio tomorrow. Artest was suspended for hitting San Antonio's Manu Ginobili in the head. Former Notre Dame basketball coach Matt Darty has been named coach at SMU. Darty was the coach last season at Florida Atlantic. He replaces Jimmy Tubbs, who was fired by SMU 3 weeks ago after 2 losing seasons and an internal investigation that uncovered NCAA violations. Darty coached the Irish in 1999-2000. He took over at North Carolina the next season and was National Coach of the Year after going 26-7. Jimmy Clausen says he'll play for Notre Dame in 2007. Clausen is rated as one of the top high school football players in the nation heading into his senior season. Clausen says Irish coach Charlie Weiss was the biggest factor in his decision. He led his high school team to a 27-0 record the past 2 seasons. He threw for 2,700 yards and 30 touchdowns last year. The Vincennes Lincoln baseball team remains #1 in this week's Class 3A baseball poll. The unbeaten Alices received 4 votes for first place and 56 rating points. Jasper climbs to second this week, followed by New Haven and West Vigo. New Palestine and Norwell are tied for 5th. In Class 2A, the North Knox Warriors are tied for 10th with Brownstown and Knightstown. The South Knox Spartans are honorable mention this week in Class 2A. In Major League Baseball action, Greg Maddux is turning back the clock for a team missing its offensive star and 2 of its best pitchers. The 4-time NL Cy Young Award winner, who turned 40 earlier this month, threw 7 scoreless innings yesterday to help the Chicago Cubs beat the St. Louis Cardinals 7-3. He has won his first 4 starts for the first time in his career. He has a minuscule .99 ERA. The Cubs begin a 3-game series tonight against Florida at Wrigley Field, while the Cardinals host Pittsburgh at Busch Stadium. Also in the National League, Aaron Harang pitched a 5-hitter, and the Cincinnati Reds routed Milwaukee 11-0. The Brewers had beaten the Reds by the identical score on Saturday. Harang was starting on 3 days rest for the first time in his career. He's 3-1 and starting in place of Eric Milton, who's headed to the disabled list with a knee injury. Stuart Appleby is the first wire-to-wire winner of the Shell Houston Open. Appleby fired a final round 67 to win by 6 shots ahead of runner-up Bob Estes. Steve Stricker finished 3rd. Appleby finished 19 under par. Appleby joins Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson as the only 2-time winners on the PGA Tour this year. The Australian is 4th on the tour money list this year with $2.4 million in earnings. Sung-Ah Yim has won the Florida Natural Charity Championship by 2 shots. Yim shot even par for her final round in Georgia. Christy Kerr, Kari Webb, and Annika Sorenstam tied for 2nd. Defending champion Sorenstam shot a 64 yesterday and was on the lead until a double bogey on the 17th hole ruined her chances. Now that it has its own NFL network, the NFL is changing its policy concerning the rebroadcast of games. In the past, the league didn't allow full rebroadcasts, but beginning Tuesday, September 12th, NFL game re-airs will feature 4 of the best matchups from the previous weekend edited into a 90-minute format. The network plans to eliminate the halftime delay and, according to a league announcement, other elements not critical to the outcome. 2 games will be shown each Tuesday and Wednesday night. And anyway, that's a look at sports.
Thanks, Michael. Still to come on Newscenter 22, we'll check out what was hot at the box office this weekend.
Next time on Independent Lens.
I'm the defending champion again.
Can you believe that buzz you're hearing is actually about bowling?
Bowling is back.
One bowler takes home $100,000.
And only one can be champion.
It doesn't get any better than this.
A League of Ordinary Gentlemen on the next Independent Lens.
Scary Movie 4 was knocked out of the top spot this weekend by a real horror movie. Silent Hill opened in first place with over $20 million. Scary Movie slipped to the number 4 with $17 million. Next was Michael Douglas and Ava Longoria in The Sentinel. The White House assassination tale opened in third place with $14.6 million. The weekend's other major debut was Universal's George W. Bush American Idol parody, American Dreams, which features Dennis Quaid and Hugh Grant. It premiered a week number 8 with $3.7 million. Rounding out the top 5 were the animated Ice Age, The Meltdown, and The Wild. And that's all for this evening. For Michael Nice and Kurt Maddux, I'm Emma Hall. Good night.